Thank you for turning in to the semifinal District 16 soccer match between the Lady Hornets of Chillicothe and the St. Pius X Warriors Soccer. If you're watching online at a10whbtv.com, you can also catch us on WHB TV Chillicothe Zito Cable, Channel 95. With me is sponsor and Chillicothe Hornets superfan Brent Klein. How are you today?
No, I'm doing great. Anytime I can be at a Chillicothe Hornets soccer game, it's a great day.
It is a great day. I have to say it's 10 times better than it was yesterday. The weather is phenomenal. The wind has died down quite a bit. Well, what are you looking forward most to in this match, Brent?
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm really wanting to see Chillicothe give this tremendous St. Pius team a run for their money. If these girls can really come out and fight the entire game, they're going to go home happy with themselves, I guess the word is, no matter what the outcome. They're going to be happy with themselves. I want to see them fight the entire game with all the things it takes to win in soccer.
I would have to agree with that. We're going to see a very, very excellent game between these two excellent squads. I talked to both coaches earlier today, and they gave me their keys to the match. Brent, can you tell me, if you're Chillicothe, what do you have to do to win this game today?
Well, you know, I've seen Chillicothe play teams that were not as good as us, and I'm really talking the boys is what I'm referring to over the past years. And any team who was able to compete with us, and this is true for soccer in general, if that team is not as good and yet they can come out very physical, not afraid to use the shoulder, use the legs, use whatever it takes to knock them off the ball and to really disrupt their game, that's the only way to compete with a team like this, because this is, as we said, an exceptional team. So that's what they've got to do. They got to come out, and they got to come out hard. All
right, I see, and that's what you think for Chillicothe. Tell me, the St. Pius X game strategy, if you're the coach for this team, what are they going to do? What are they going to bring to Jerry Litt Memorial to beat the Chillicothe Hornets today?
You know, I'm going to guess that they're going to come out with more than a single striker. They're probably going to come out with two strikers at least, and I'm guessing, as we discussed earlier, they're probably going to bring those defensive backs up and really push the ball exceptionally hard that first half and break us. It's a little bit like a running race. You know, they say when you pass somebody in a running race, do it in a definite style. You let them know you're not tired. You go around really hard, and you hope that individual you pass drops their head. And essentially you can do the same thing in soccer. If you can come out and put a lot of points on the board quick and cause the other team essentially to let down, which is what I said I really, really don't want Chillicothe to do today. If they won't, they'll be very proud of themselves. But if they can do that, if St. Pius can do that, then essentially they can play a very comfortable game, start subbing in, rest their good players, make sure their good players don't get hurt for a tough district final game. So that's what I think they're going to do.
Great point, great point. Your wisdom is proving true. Coach Harvey's keys to today's match is very similar to what you gave me. He said the girls need to be aggressive to win today. They need to be the first of the ball on every ball, 50-50s. They need to win the first ball in the air, the second ball in the air, just consistent battling and always winning those challenges. He also said the girls should force the issue from the defense. So he's going to get girls like Bailey Fox and Samantha Baldwin into the attack, much like they've done all season, and he's really going to count on them to be that cog in the midfield and getting all the gears working to fire on all cylinders. He's also been emphasizing 45-degree angles in training lately, so a lot of transitional movement lateral across the field and slowly working up to find the gaps to exploit this Pius defense and hopefully get a goal or two today. And as far as the St. Pius keys to the match goes, the coach had told me that they've actually been plagued with injuries this season, so they always have to adapt, and they've been adapting a lot. But they haven't changed their ideology too much. They're gonna focus on a possession game. They're not going to change that too much. They're gonna not let Chillicothe on the ball, and they're going to beat us at their own physical game. He also said they're going to open the field as much as possible. He wants to spread out the Chillicothe defense, and he wants to exploit the channels the same way we are going to try to, but rather than working it through the core of the midfield like Chillicothe, he's going to send it out wide and then back in.
I always feel that sending the ball wide, it's a good way to get the ball worked in without being offsides. You know, if you can bring that ball wide, it tends to draw those defenders back. And then when the ball crosses, there's going to be a lot less offsides calls, but yet you get the ball close to the goal. As far as possession goes, I would love to see Chillicothe beat Pius at that game. You mentioned that St. Pius is going to try to play possession. When you have a strong scoring team like St. Pius, one of the best things you can do to limit the scoring and hopefully put a few on the board yourself and hopefully make the game go your way. The longer you possess that ball, the less opportunities they have to score. So I would love to see just exactly what you described, which is, short passes, a lot of ball control, a lot of possession, keep away. Let's just play some keep away, but keeping in mind that we are needing to play aggressive. This is it's win or die here, so we need to keep moving the ball forward, but be patient. Lots of short, quick passes. And limit the time on the foot of the opponent, and that's how you win a game like this.
Absolutely, I have to agree 100% with you there. So before we leave and then come back with a roster and kickoff, I have to do some comparable statistics for the two teams, and they're really, really impressive. If you look at this Pius team, they've scored 85 goals this season compared to Chillicothe's 52. So in the same amount of games, 19, they've scored 32 more goals than Chillicothe. Not only that, they've had 11 shutouts, which is a school record. Not too impressive a statistic considering their goalkeeper, Anna Lillig. She was all Metro 2 years in a row and is only a junior. What do you think we're going to see from her today?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot from her today. They're going to depend on her, and I believe she's a machine. So I think she will produce. And again, let's keep the ball away from her. I'd love to see just a really good game of keep away today. But I don't want to play the ball back too much. We have to play the ball forward. We want to be aggressive. We want to drive the ball toward the goal. We're not going to win unless we put some goals on ourselves, but I'd sure like to keep the ball away from her and limit that scoring possibility.
Right, and as far as scoring goes, Chillicothe's leading goal scorer, Lindy Saunders, with 26 goals this season, only trailing the Pius leading goal scorer, Sydney Ruth, with 28 this season, so only 2 behind. However, another striker that we're going to look at the St. Pius squad is Maggie Plaz, who this season has 160 career goals, a school record for St. Pius. Isn't that something incredible?
That is really incredible. I mean, in a school career, 160 goals. I mean, that's 40 goals a season.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's incredible.
Crazy. And also another thing that we need to point out about this Maggie Plaz is that she's the only starting senior on this squad. So a team that has gone 15-3-1 all season, only seeing 3 losses, only has the veteran leadership of 1 player. Is that something to be said about the team as well?
That's amazing. And, what does that say for the future team? I mean, this is going to be a strong team for several years to come. So, and it tells you they have some depth as well. If they have had injured players, they certainly, it sounds like, have some underclassmen who can step up and play. And as we talked about yesterday, these really good players, even at the junior level, they're able to pull those freshmen and sophomores up to a higher game level. This team plays at a pretty high level, and so those younger players, they're learning at a high level of play. They're not having to travel a long way to learn some really good foot skills and have some really good competition. They can play each other and essentially improve upon each other. So I think it's just a team with a lot of depth. Right,
a lot of depth. And we'll see just how talented these young players are whenever we come back with the rosters and the kickoff for the game. Again, if you're watching online at 810WHBTV.com, you can catch this live broadcast at WHB TV, Chillicothe on Zito Cable, Channel 95.
Some of the best teams in the world are in Kansas City. The Chiefs, the Royals, Sporting, and the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol? St. John and Bucati? Those 2 guys couldn't hold on.
Easy there, fellas. We may not be the 2 godfathers of Kansas City sports like you guys are,
but we do know how to have a good time talking sports.
And having a good time like Gary Lezak has a good time.
Make the Border Patrol a part of your morning, just like I do.
Watch Sports Radio 810's Border Patrol, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on 38 to 5.
So what's your favorite sport?
Girls track.
Boys track.
Boys track.
Boys track.
Girls track.
Boys track.
Go girls!
What's your favorite sport?
Girls track.
So what's your favorite sport?
Definitely soccer.
No wait, girls soccer.
Girls soccer.
Girls soccer. The Chillicothe Hornets!
Chillicothe Hornets. Chillicothe Hornets. The Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets.
The Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets!
Girls soccer. Boys track. What do they have in common? Districts. You better believe it.
League Baseball is right around the corner, and the Chillicothe Mudcats will soon begin their 14th season at Schaefer Memorial Park, the summer home of 55 Major League Baseball draftees. Yeah, and you can watch the Mudcats this year on Mudcat TV. And expect more fun at the ballpark, more prizes, more games, more promotions, and play baseball bingo once a week. And of course, collegiate baseball at its finest. The season begins May 30th versus the Spooner Wisconsin Bandits.
105.9 The Wave, glorifying him and encouraging you.
Come on and shake like you shake like you shake. You're an overcomer. Stay in the fight to the final round. When you don't know what to say, just say Jesus. There's still power in the name of Jesus.
It's our goal to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your FM dial and on your browser at 1059thewave.com. Give us a try and see how we glorify Him and encourage you.
Just say Jesus.
Golf season is right around the corner. Make Green Hills Golf Course in Chillicothe your first choice for play. The course offers large, sweeping greens and forgiving fairways and makes for an enjoyable round for players of all skill levels. We also offer a full-service golf shop, stocking Nike Golf, Bridgestone, Titleist, and FootJoy products. The course also conducts golf club fittings using the Mizuno golf fitting system. Be sure to check us out on Facebook by searching Chillicothe Golf or on Twitter at Golf Chillicothe. You can also check out the website, greenhillsgolfcourse.com, or call 660-646-6669.
Whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or just to show someone special that you care, give the gift that keeps on giving. Precious jewelry from Lauhoff Jewelry. Surprisingly affordable and always to be treasured, a gift of diamonds and gold will provide years of enjoyment for the ones you love. Lauhoff Jewelry has 2 locations to serve you. See us in the Williams Shopping Center in Trenton and on the west side of the square, downtown Chillicothe.
It's special Lauhoff's jewelry and gifts.
So here we are back underway with the District 16 semifinal ladies soccer between the Chillicothe Hornets and the St. Pius Warriors. Brent, we talked about the weather conditions. It's going to be awesome today, and we're getting the rosters underway. Well, what do you think we're gonna see right at the kickoff for this game from the team that won the coin toss?
You know, Bryce, for the sake of a good game and just good spirited play, I hope we really see fire. I hope both teams come out on fire and really show. I want the Hornets to show themselves what they're capable of. And there's no way to show yourself what you're capable of unless you're playing a really good team. You just need to go out and fight and leave everything on the field and give it your all and feel good about it at the end of the day, no matter what the result. That's what I'd like to see. It makes for a more fun game, too.
Absolutely. I think both teams will push each other. And from what I saw yesterday, I think we're going to see a Chillicothe team that's so strong in the core that they're not going to have a problem on that counterattack.
Right.
And if we're doing predictions now for the first half, I think by the end of the first half, we're going to have a Chillicothe Hornet team that's winning 1-0. What do you think?
Amen to that. I'm with you.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll take it.
I'm with you on that one. And then, boy, if we could defend, you don't want to get too defensive. I told you my theory yesterday is keep doing what got you there, but at the same time, maybe drop one more person into defense if we can get a lead and hold that lead. That would be so nice. A lot of times these games between two tough teams, a lot of times that's how these games are won, is 1-0. Sometimes they're won off of set pieces, corner kicks. Sometimes they're, as you know, sometimes they win in overtime. Sometimes it's PKs. So hopefully that's that kind of a game.
All right, yes. Let's talk about the tournament here for a moment. What kind of mentality does Chillicothe have after a dominating win yesterday in St. Pius, being seeded and not even playing in the tournament yet? Is there a factor of confidence that Chillicothe has, or is it weary legs? What do you think the game yesterday, what effect does that have on Chillicothe today?
Bryce, I think they're coming in on a high. I mean, I just don't think there's much question about that. They came into Maryville on a high as well. I don't know if you were able to see that game, but for nearly the entire first half against a state-ranked Maryville team, they came out and they were on fire, and that's when I want to see them hold the entire game. They scored first. We scored first against Maryville, and that's that 1-0 that you're talking about. I believe we can come out, we can surprise them, and we can put a score on the board. And then we got to keep our heads up no matter what happens from that point and limit the time that those other girls have the ball. And I think we can see an upset here today.
Absolutely. And from the game yesterday, absolutely dominating performance. And we brought the physicality because we were the aggressor. The majority of the time, we didn't see too many injuries. The only real issue we've seen is Carson Keithley coming off with a little bit of a hip issue after the game. But like I said, she's in the starting lineup today, so probably not going to be too much of an issue. And so the anthem is finished, and we have both starting lineups on the field. For Chillicothe, we're going to have Jaylene Sturgis in goal. The back line consisting of Josie Reeder, Haley Jones, Brooke Nelson. In the midfield, Bailey Fox, Samantha Baldwin, Megan Dominic, Mariah Cox, Lindy Saunders. And up top, we're going to have freshman Carson Keithley and senior Miranda Mammon.
Okay, for the St. Pius Warriors, we've got Anna Lillig, Sydney Routh, Andrea Mosorki, Katie Pearson, Madeline Quinn, Ann Geiger, Caitlin Pitala, Zoila Victoria, Maggie Ploss, Emma Meinking, Claire Gottensperren. I think that's German, so I had to pronounce it German, Gottensperren. Rachel Serrano, Ava Rock, Allison Malott, Sarah Seichel, Cox Lexi. Okay, I would have think that would be in reverse, but it does say Cox Lexi. Alex Wildman, Hannah Rudkin, Erin Bollinger, Simone Pearl, and Faith Wright.
Yes, that'll be the St. Pius squad, and kicking off, heading to the north end, are the St. Pius strikers Maggie Plass and Sydney Ruth, with well over 24 goals between the two this season, and we're going to see how they do now as they kick off for the beginning of this game.
Yep, they're all lined up. The sun has popped out. We get a little some cloud cover once in a while, and it'll keep the girls cool, but what a perfect day for soccer. Very little wind compared to yesterday.
Absolutely. St. Pius doing quick to play the ball out wide, but a player is stumbling over the ball, and Megan Dominic sending a quick ball on through for Carson Keithley, but getting played out towards the east byline. St. Pius quick to clean it back up, playing it to their right back. Back into the core of the midfield. Very central play right now from St. Pius, perhaps looking to distribute a nutmeg from the St. Pius midfielder. Now number 9 with the ball.
And to explain a nutmeg, that means that the St. Pius player kicked it right directly between the Chillicothe player's legs.
Maggie Plass getting a shot off in the goal. Banked off by Haley Jones, getting another shot off, hitting the crossbar. Ruled off for offsides, though, very close. Yes. Quick, early and often mentality from the St. Pius team. What do you think we're going to see from them? Are they going to continue that, do you think?
I really think that is what they're going to do. I think that just exactly exemplified what the coaches told them to do. They got up around the 18 and took a shot.
A lot of pressure here on the Chillicothe back line in our defensive third. Number 7, bobbing and weaving, cutting the best she can, but Samantha Baldwin and Nelson doing the best they can to box her out.
Okay, looks like it's going to be a goal kick Chillicothe as it was kicked out of the Chillicothe. Do we call it an end zone, Bryce?
We could call it an end zone. I like to call it the 6-yard box. It doesn't extend out that wide, but
there you go.
It's the same distance out. So
yes,
that's what I like to do anyway.
Okay.
A good goal kick taken all the way out to the 25-yard line on the football field. Sticky turf, it's looking like, and I talked to the coach about this before. They do not play on a turf field, and he says he loves it when they get the opportunity to play on it because it builds up the speed. He was raving about Chillicothe's turf, playing at another school a week or so ago. He said it was rock solid, almost like concrete. And he comes here, he says it's such a luxury, and the girls love playing on a surface like this because it just adds a factor to their game. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I'm surprised. I mean, yes, Chillicothe's field is extremely nice. And Bryce, you've played on many other turf fields. I've played on other turf fields, and it's just it is nearly the perfect turf, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's new. But normally, a team who plays on grass would rather play on grass. A team who plays on turf would rather play on turf because it does change the flow of the game. And we had a tough time against LeBlanc a few times. We got used to the turf. You go there, and then you're playing on that grass. It makes it pretty tough, and vice versa. When a team who's been playing on grass comes to Chillicothe, sometimes you can really see it take its toll because they're not used to the speed of the field.
No, absolutely not. Now Maggie Plaz with the ball, playing it through the midfield on to number 7, Caitlin Pitala. Again, cut out by Samantha Baldwin. All that energy in the midfield, doing her best to contain it and using good lateral movement, but Pius just overpowering them with numbers right now. Taking the ball up the east byline, sent it in for a cross. Josie Reeder cleaning it up, sending it back out for Miranda Maimon, trying to beat the right back for Pius, and then again cleared out by Megan Dominic.
It's nice. The defenders evidently were talking. There was a defender that really – there was two of our defenders, two Chillicothe defenders that could have gotten to the ball. You saw one back off, and I heard a parent kind of yell because they couldn't understand why their child wasn't going to the ball. But you could definitely tell that there had been some communication as to who was going to take that ball. What can happen is two defenders go for the same ball, and bad things happen. Neither one of them gets it. It pops in the air, and then there's a score.
Absolutely. What we just saw here was Allison Mallett taking a volley out of the air to the goalkeeper. Oh, ball trickled out, and it's a goal for St. Pius.
I really think Haley Jones was thinking there needed to be a foul there. She had position on the ball, and it looked as though the St. Pius girl really just pushed her down in order to get to the ball, and then proceeded to stick it right in front of the goal.
Absolutely. A simple goal. She kept her composure and slotted it into the back of the net very easily. Still waiting on the number for her to turn around so we can get a name on this. Maggie Plaz, again, that leading goal scorer, doing so well to just use her wisdom up top to make a clinical finish.
Yes, it was a great finish. I was a lot of composure shown there.
So here we are at the 35-minute mark, and it's 1-0 St. Pius X beating Chillicothe to 0.
That kind of a goal this quick in the game can do, of course, a couple of things. It can cause us to get a little bit angry, which some of that's not so bad, and we just decide we're going to fight and fight hard. The other thing is, of course, it can kind of take the steam out of the girls, and as I said early on, I'm hoping that it's the first. I'm hoping that kind of says, okay, girls, we've really got to get ourselves together.
Absolutely. You can see the team get angry. And as well, I love what you said about the communication earlier. One thing that you can always tell when two good teams are on the field is it's noisy. It's not quiet. They're always talking, communicating, yelling at each other, getting each other into position, really making each other better in that sense.
Yes. And girls, I've always felt, are very good with communicating anyhow. And they do seem to be doing a very good job of that. You hear a lot of hollering going on out there, and that is the only way to play because you cannot see behind you or to your side, for that matter, very well.
Absolutely, and I think that's why Coach Harvey is so adamant about his defensive midfielders and his center backs. They're so good at letting their attackers know what's going on around them on the field.
Yes, communication is just central to a good soccer team. You cannot be a good soccer team without adequate communication. Really, if you haven't over-communicated, you've under-communicated.
Absolutely. Chillicothe's strikers, Miranda Maimon and Carson Keithley, both finding themselves on the same side and also dropping into the midfield a bit more. Not a good sign for Chillicothe. Perhaps they're thinking they need to recover more and counter here. They're just not quite set up in position as you want your strikers to be. And hopefully, if Chillicothe can get a momentum swing off of a set piece or off of regaining possession and playing slowly, we can find ourselves back in an attacking position.
Yes, I'd love to see us getting into that attacking position. It really, it really sets a team on their heels when they start bringing their strikers back to defend. The team can't hold its shape, and there's nobody. The midfield is about as far as you can get the ball before you're challenged, and it would be really nice to see us in a different position than that.
A shot in from St. Pius striker, just sliding under Jaylene Sturgis.
Goal, St. Pius.
Taken at the 6-yard box. Not a whole lot of chance left for Sturgis. She probably should have done well to get on the ground. That was Sarah Scheel who made that goal. Well taken, but really Jaylene Sturgis should have done better on that one.
Yes, that one she knows she should have had. She's not happy with herself. She's hitting the ground. She's just not a happy camper about not getting that one. She did have the ball. She was nearly laying on it, but somehow it managed to slip right through. So they're lining up here for kickoff, and Chillicothe kicks off.
Here we are at the 33rd minute. Pius beating Chillicothe 2-0. It's not looking good so far for Chillicothe. St. Pius doing well to hit early and often, like the coaches said, and so far that game plan is working for them. Chillicothe doing well to stay into games all season, so hopefully we'll see them do well.
Yeah, hopefully they will just like I said, they keep their heads up, keep their daubers up, so to speak, and challenge this team. It's really a shame. You hate to see 2 goals really that I know that Chillicothe wished they had it to do over, because these were not 2 really clean goals. They just weren't.
Right.
Not to take anything away from St. Pius, because the thing of it is, if you're putting it in the danger zone, anything can happen. And so you got to give them credit for putting the ball where it needs to be to have the possibility of going in the net. If they didn't have it down there, it wouldn't go in. It's just that on both occasions, probably Chillicothe could have, in fact, I know Chillicothe could have stopped it.
Right, just now Carson Keithley doing well to recover and win the ball. However, going off her shins for a throw-in on the east byline for St. Pius. Now Maggie going in, cutting up defenders, sitting across him, but cleaned up by Samantha Baldwin.
The girls are going to have a no-quit attitude. They're going to have an attitude of overcoming where they determine that they are going to give it their all the entire game.
Right, and believe it or not, 2-0 going into the half is the best goal line we can hope for the day. It's so easy to get players caught up in when beating a team 2-0. They say it's the most dangerous score line, because as soon as a team gets a quick counter and they're down 1-2, next thing you know, they're caught off guard and they have another goal on them. So if Chillicothe can do well to keep the ball out of the back of their net for the rest of the half, I say that's the best chance they have at making a comeback in this game.
Last night I experienced that exact thing, Bryce. I was playing FIFA, which some of you may know is soccer on the computer. St. Pius taking another shot. That's why I had to hesitate.
Caitlin Patala with a shot outside the 18-yard box, looking well struck, but just going left a few feet of the goalpost.
They're not afraid to take strikes, are they, Bryce?
No, they're not, and I think that's kind of a thought that the coaches instilled in their brains. With 58 goals this season, they're shooting at least every 3 minutes in a game. They have to be. So
that's
you
a lot of strikes.
Definitely see the intensity that the offense is bringing from St. Pius.
Yes. To finish the thought that I was having there about FIFA, for any of you who don't know, that is a computer on Xbox, or you may be able to play it on PlayStation, but it's extremely realistic to what really occurs in soccer. And the individual that I was playing, I was ahead by 2-0 at half. And I was ahead by 3-1 well into the second half. And guess who lost the game? I lost the game. So I could tell you from experience that that is a true statement. And the way that game is written, the way that software is written, it's incredibly realistic.
Absolutely. A lot of coaches actually around the world, whenever they have players with like set downtime, they encourage them to play that video game just because it puts the analysis of the game in, and it makes you think tactically rather than technically whenever you're on the field. And it just coaches players on their own. They teach themselves how to make wise decisions. And a part of that's also comforting because you're not out on the field beating yourself up.
Yeah, that's true. I've actually watched players who really just went out for soccer. They didn't really understand the game of soccer. They start playing FIFA, and Bryce, and I bet you have seen it too, the next time they're out on the field after playing lots of FIFA, they play like different players. And I'll even look at them and say, "You've been playing FIFA," and they'll just smile because they understand it.
Absolutely. Now Bailey Fox cleaning up a little bit of a mess in the Chillicothe defensive third. It'll be a Pius throw-in now, about 5 yards out from the goal.
We've got a really good crowd out here enjoying the game today.
I would say a bigger turnout than yesterday's game, but again, semifinal, higher stakes. Two more competitive teams going at it. A long throwing in at the 6-yard box, headed out. It'll be a corner kick for St. Pius.
It's interesting, Bryce, they actually roped off the center section where the shade is. I bet there's some people not real happy about that, and it's in order to separate the St. Pius team fans from the Chillicothe team fans. So they are on opposite sides of the stadium.
Number 9, Maggie Plass, the only senior on the team, up to take this corner kick. A high looping ball, kneed out by Lindy Saunders, played down again to the ground. St. Pius getting a shot off, but going just too high and too wide.
I'm hearing that the separation of fans is actually a Misha rule. So I guess as the stakes get higher, the intensity does as well. So keep those crazy parents away from each other. I've been there. I've been one of those parents.
Not a bad time for an announcement from Misha. Tonight's game is not only a competitive contest between these two schools, but it's also an educational experience for the students involved. Because high school activities are about learning life values, your friends at 810WHBTV.com and the Missouri State High School Activities Association remind everyone to do their part in keeping our hometown sports a positive experience for everyone. When you attend your next game, do your part to help rekindle the spirit of citizenship by showing good sportsmanship. You'll be teaching a positive lesson, and you'll be preserving a proud tradition in the state of Missouri.
You know, and speaking of WHB TV, it was after the game and the post game last night that I wanted to thank Jim Bly and WHB TV. And you know, you can also view this game on live stream. I'll figure out what that web address is here in a moment. But it's just it's amazing the amount of time and effort that Jim Bly puts into this program to gaining Chillicothe Hornets exposure.
Maggie Plass now getting another shot off at the 18-yard box, only 2 feet looking wide of the left goalpost, not afraid to shoot from distance, and they're looking really strong from that distance as well.
Yes, they are. You know, when a team gets confident, they start taking a lot of shots from a lot of different places on the field, and that's a dangerous place for the defense because a lot of times once that confidence builds, the ball starts going into the back of the net pretty quick.
Bailey Fox with a goal kick at the 6-yard line, flicked on by Samantha Baldwin. Now getting cleaned up at the midfield by a St. Pius midfielder. Now making the same run, playing off of that ball, picked up by Hannah Jones. Carson Keithley running to the ball. A good lead ball from Miranda Mammon. Back to Carson Keithley, one-on-one, and sends it just too far out for Miranda Mammon, not really giving a challenge for the St. Pius center back to clean that up.
Yes, Carson had the right idea. They had some overlapping running going on there, and Carson just sent it too far away. If she could have made that angle a little bit more of almost a 90-degree, not more, but somewhere between 90 and 45. Miranda would have had a chance at it, but instead it ended up going to the Pius player. Yes,
the center back, Miss Musarici, and the goalkeeper for St. Pius not really having too much to deal with today. Chillicothe just doing their hardest to get the ball played out, but not really passing the 30-yard line.
Yes, that goalkeeper seems a bit bored, I must say.
We've seen her a few times track all the way up about 30 yards out, just coaching her defenders and midfielders, telling them what to do. Often that's the role goalkeepers have to play for their team because they spend so much time analyzing and seeing how the game unfolds. They really give the best advice in game situations.
Yeah, they do get to see the whole field. You know, they are standing back. You know, they say you can't see the forest for the trees. So when you're right in the middle of it, a lot of times you're focused on the player you're marking, focused on the ball.
A great ball played in wide across for Maggie, and again another goal into the side netting. Difficult angle. Jaylene Sturgis off of her line by a few feet and trying to come out, but just so quick to pounce and get that shot off. Not really giving her a chance, knuckling it outside as well. A really well shot taken.
Yes, but in any event, the goalkeeper really can coach their team. They can see what's going on. They see the entire field, and they can really, really help give these girls the kind of knowledge that they need to do the right things during the game. I'm afraid that I'm seeing something that I almost failed to mention. I hate to mention, but I feel that I'm seeing it, and it is what my greatest fear was before the game. I wanted these girls to really keep their heads up no matter what happens, and fight like they were in the game, the entire time. But I think just then I started to see, the girls not feeling that they needed to be the first to the ball, not having that just absolute aggressiveness that it takes, the zeal that it takes to get to the ball before the other player, and that probably cost us that last goal.
Right. You can almost see the life being drained out of this team, not playing with much gusto anymore. You're not seeing them going in for that 50-50 ball. They're now a reactive team, not as proactive as they've been in the past, and it's really hurting the team. You can see they're 3-0 down with 24 minutes left, and just for the first time really in the game in the offensive third in the St. Pius defense.
This is where a timeout would come in handy, isn't it?
It really will. We don't have those game breaker challenges like we do in other sports, but
yes, if they could have a timeout and let the coach have a few words with the team about how to keep your composure, how to keep your head up, how to fight like there's no tomorrow, then it can make a difference. But that is a difference between European or the rest of the world football and American football.
Natalie Minnick now into Carson Keithley. For me, if I was a coach and I could use a timeout, I think it would have came right after that first goal.
Absolutely.
I would have put my girls in a position to where they needed to decide if they're going to let the mentality of getting a goal down really affect the game, and that's exactly what they did. Whether they knew that they had to chase the game at this point or whether they thought they had to adapt and not stick to the game strategy. Whatever it was, they let it get the best of them. And now here we are again with the St. Pius attack right on the goal line of the Chillicothe defense and just really exploiting our defense the best they can.
Absolutely. To mention a few players here, Megan Dominic, you mentioned yesterday's game that Coach had said that Megan, what she doesn't possess in speed or quickness, she makes up for in a lot of other ways, and it's a never say die attitude. And I just saw Megan sprint from the 30 or 40 yard line all the way back to help defend because she can see that the defenders have their heads down a little, and she is just determined to get back there and to stop the scoring process that's going on, and that's just nice to see.
Absolutely. Hustle and Wits is the name of Megan Dominic's game, and she's done well to shut out winger Katie Pearson. She loves to streak up that west byline here, and she has so much speed, but Megan doing well to be smart and cut her out at every chance she gets.
Absolutely. Looks like we've had a substitute come in. Natalie Minnick has made it into the game.
On for Carson Keithley.
Off of Carson Keithley. You may have mentioned that. I may not have been paying attention. And then it looks like Brooke Nelson's in the game as well.
It'll be a goal kick for Chillicothe. Bailey Fox lining up on the 6 yard line to take this. You're seeing some life come back into the Chillicothe team now that they're getting slightly more possession, and you can almost see the encouragement they get by playing in with the attack, getting involved. You see Lindy Saunders now really forcing the issue and making the St. Pius midfielders and defenders make a decision.
Coach is trying something new, Bryce. He has put a very, very good defender, Lily Stover, at lone striker at the moment.
Not a bad idea. Chillicothe having very good defenders. You'll see yesterday's center back, Haley Jones, actually with one of the goals in district play. She isn't afraid to come up big, and I think that's true for all of our defenders. Sturgis now making an excellent save off a knuckling ball on the 6 yard line. Sent it to the right post, but almost started twirling to the left. A really good shot taken.
Had a little bit of reverse spin on it, and that's the kind of thing that it will take for her to get her confidence back. Not that much of a different kick than those that came before that she missed, and it was completely different. But nonetheless, both of them were to her. That's what they shared in common. But the fact is she handled that with confidence.
Absolutely. They say you learn just as much in one game as you do in 100 days of practice. And no better situation to correct yourself than off the same shot that's come at you twice already in a game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're doing a nice job of closing now in the defense. You know, they are limiting the scoring here. It looks like they're maybe deciding to get a little tough here. They're going to give these girls a challenge. If they want to get that ball, somebody just got kicked in the head.
Absolutely. Now Samantha Baldwin doing the best she can to push that attacker off balance and keeping her from getting that shot off. Doing so well, containing her for about 2 minutes there. Doing her best to cut Samantha up, but no, she won the challenge and actually won the last challenge on the ground, taking most of the force to the face. She's now lined up on the goal post, though, seemed to have shaken it off pretty well.
Yes, it looks like she's shaking it off pretty well. You know, that may be Bailey Fox, actually. I'm just going from memory. I did not look at the sheet. But
you know what? You're right. What has happened is they actually changed the color of headbands from yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Exact opposites.
And they're, you know, similar-looking girls from this distance, similar size, so it does make it a little tough. I'll be interested to see how Lily Stover does up here up front. She certainly does have speed. She's got size. She's got some good skill. She knows where to be. I've never seen her play up front, but this is it's going to be very interesting to see how she does.
Lindy Saunders with a desperate long ball over the top. Now Stover pushing up on the last defender, but she does well to put it out wide and then back in for a midfielder to be played back, and she clears it all the way up to the 30-yard line. In the Chillicothe defense, no one getting a touch on that. It'll be a Chillicothe goal kick.
You know, sometimes those early goals, when the team feels that they weren't, you know, good solid goals, it's almost better for a team. They don't get down as much when that first goal is a really good, solid, well-played goal. When the team feels that they made a mistake or that somehow it was an undeserved goal, that's what really can suck the life out of you. And we've had a few minutes here where the girls have almost changed their mentality. They're not playing like the life sucked out of them, and that's good. They just need a little bit of time, so hopefully we can make a comeback.
Stover now running onto the ball, and the defense winning it, playing it to Mammon, but Mammon not doing well enough to maintain possession, and now it's played through for Maggie again, now going into the attack for St. Pius, but Haley Jones doing her best to clear it out.
Looks like they have taken Lily Stover and moved her back to her original defensive position, and they have put Carson Keithley back up front.
Perhaps just resting that hip a little bit that's giving her some issues, or just a quick breather. It may seem more hot out today considering there's less wind. And being on that turf, it almost feels like you're just breathing in tar. So a lot of breathers and breaks, especially for those strikers, putting in a lot of minutes going box to box in a game like this. Definitely get tired quickly.
Absolutely. Megan Dominic continuing to fight. She has worked her way back into that defensive area again, and just really stopped a player from making an aggressive move toward the goal, and there was some wide open space had that player got around her.
So smart. A lot of soccer IQ, and we talked yesterday about how a few professional players having Albert Einstein IQs, and it's true, and you can almost bet on some of the girls on this field by how smart they play on what kind of report card they bring home.
That is true. That is true.
Now Samantha Baldwin doing well to win the ball and playing it back to Chillicothe defender Hannah Jones. Now taking it up through the midfield, one-on-one with a St. Pius midfielder, looking for an option, but Chillicothe not giving her anything. Still being more physical despite her size. Miranda Mammon now going up the left side of the field. St. Pius right back, pushing it out for a Chillicothe throw-in.
I'm seeing this difference pay off. This is we've got the ball on an offensive striking area now, and I'm not sure if this is the first time in the game, but it is the first time since the girls let down. They're fighting now.
Here's a moment whenever we talked about how the mentality is actually affecting the team. You want to see defensive midfielders like Samantha Baldwin really pushing up right now, perhaps pressuring the girl on the ball here, but instead she's hanging back, perhaps because they're doubting each other, or maybe she's just worried that they're too quick on that counter. But not going up the field as far as we saw yesterday.
Yes, and it really would be nice to see them be able to get up the field and hold that position.
St. Pius winger sending a ball in, hit down by Sturgis and cleaned up at the 18-yard line. Now waiting, looking for a best option, waiting for a defense to get reset. Carson Keithley playing the ball out of the air, winning it, not having an option to send it to.
You know, Carson having a hurt hip, you wouldn't know it to watch her play. She's a tough girl and a quick girl. She's got a nose for the ball. She's got a nose for the goal. It's fun to watch her play.
Absolutely not. This Chillicothe team is a squad that I think has a lot of grit, a kind of grit that you need to win games, a kind of grit that you need to come back in games. And, we see that they haven't given up on the game yet, but you see how the mindset has changed. And a little momentum swing can see that change dramatically. I think we're going to see a team that can come back and maybe tie it. Definitely by the end of the second half, but at least get a goal or two in this half if they try their best.
I agree. They're playing a little better now, as though they're meant to win, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to believe in themselves. Sports, as you know, Bryce, is just, people think that it is mostly physical, but there is so much mental involved.
Carson Keithley one-on-one with the defender, another coming on her back hard. No options in the box yet. Center back poking it out. Carson Keithley not giving up on the ball yet. Strong physicality, clean play, still with the ball, looking for an option. No one there, sending a cross in, banking off. Pius center back Lindy Saunders cleaning it up at the center of the midfield, trying to play it back. Fouled from behind. It's going to be a free kick to Chillicothe again. Few goals back. Games back. Chillicothe beating Cameron 4-1, all on set pieces. So Chillicothe very strong on set pieces. Now losing the game 0-3 to St. Pius. Perhaps they can change the scoreline here now with 13 minutes left in the game.
I saw some fierceness there.
Carson Keithley one-on-one with the defender, battling, winning the ball at a poor angle for a shot, looking for a pass. Right back, cutting out, heading up the east, byline on her own. Sent it to her right winger. Back into the core of the midfield. Now Pius on the counter. Quickly matching the numbers of the Chillicothe defense, although Chillicothe's hung back, doing well to find each other. Now, 2-on-2 situation. Right winger at the edge of the box, looking for a cross in. It's low and driven. Stover getting in the way of Sturgis' save, but still cleared out for a Pius throw-in.
I loved what I saw out of Carson Keithley up front. I saw the same thing out of Hannah Jones over on the far side, and that was just some good, aggressive, fierce, strong-headed play.
I want to say it's that grit that we were talking about. Never afraid to give up in their own 18-yard box.
Yeah, it is the grit. It's nice to see. And, girls have to show each other the way. It's true with any team. Somebody's got to set the tone. Another great shot from outside the 18, Bryce.
Makes you wonder if the seniors and upperclassmen on the squad will have anything to say to the rest of the team on half. Almost a rite of passage sort of thing. You see such a young St. Pius squad going against an experienced older Chillicothe squad and getting the upper hand. You would think that the seniors and upperclassmen just want the win more.
Yes, and there's no question that the more experience you have, the more times you've been there, the easier it is for the win not to be taken out of your sails. You've been there before. You know what it feels like. You know when you don't like when you let down, and you know what it's like to fight.
Haley Jones poking the ball out of the 18-yard box now to be sent back out wide to the right winger, looking for a cross in. Sturgis going to the ground to clean it up, but not making the save. That's another goal for St. Pius X.
Exceptionally good goal by St. Pius. They fought for the ball along the baseline, kept it in bounds, and somehow got a crazy angle on it and squeaked it. The keeper was ready, but they got such an angle on it that they squeaked it right by the keeper into the far post for a score. Actually
scored by a winger and a freshman who is not a starter, Madeline Quinn. So it just goes to show how much depth the St. Pius squad has whenever they have girls coming off the bench against an experienced Chillicothe team, and just forcing throughout the entire match, not slowing up at any point in time. You saw how St. Pius were on their heels just moments before that, and Chillicothe doing well to make a counter, St. Pius doing well to make a counter and really exploiting our defense, and finding the channels and not letting them push them around.
Yes, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they got that next goal just as Chillicothe was really getting their head into the game and really playing with some fierceness. They managed to squeak in another goal there, and Chillicothe was doing reasonable to defend. The keeper was in position, but it was a great strike by the Pius player, and that one, nobody could make any excuses for.
No, none at all. A well worked play and a well taken shot as well.
They're really doing a good job, Bryce, of working the ball out wide.
Absolutely, and getting good crosses in as well. Now the ball falling to Maggie Plaz again, trying to get a shot off, but doesn't work out in her favor. Same Madeline looking for a cross in again. Cleaned up by Haley Jones, sending it out about 30 yards for Hannah Jones to clean up.
Hannah's an impressive player as a freshman. She does a great job.
We did. We talked yesterday about how an older sibling who played the sport is a great mentor and someone who can kind of show the ropes, and you see her come in off the bench and doing just as well as the starters since the rest of the season has gone through, and these playoff games as well.
Mariah Cox, let's take a look at what grade Mariah is in, but she has not played soccer for a long time.
She's a sophomore. No, her first year was last year, actually.
Yes, and she she's very impressive, very fast, very good with the ball. Really got a good head for the game of soccer, understands it. She's really fun to watch, and just really proud to see these young kids come out and do such a good job with so little experience.
Coach Harvey likes to call her the truest winger on the team. She loves to use her speed, and as well as she should. Probably one of the fastest girls on the team. She's not afraid to take a player on one-on-one, cut one direction, and just use that speed to beat her out the other way. Carried up the rest of the field. He also says she's one of the girls that wins all the 50-50 balls, all those challenges. She can be strong even though she doesn't look it.
That's exactly right. She's small but mighty.
Absolutely.
Pius seeming to control the ball down around their end of the field, although Chillicothe, creating definite disruption for them.
Absolutely. Plaz and Mallet waiting at the top of the 18-yard box, kind of just expecting for the next well-played cross in. They've been coming throughout the match, but relatively infrequently since the last goal.
This is the way that Coach Cunningham likes to play the boys team, Bryce, as you know, is to get the ball out wide, bring the cross in, and it's certainly working for the Pius team today.
Carson Keithley fouled at the 30-yard line. It'll be a Chillicothe free kick.
Looks like Bailey Fox, the very tough defender, is taking the free kick.
Well-driven ball into the core of the midfield. Carson Keithley doing well to pressure it. It'll be sent back to Chillicothe defender Josie Reeder, looking for her best option, playing it to feet. Now right up the byline for Megan Dominic, not able to get a foot on it, traveling too fast. St. Pius sends it back into the center of the midfield. Looking for a channel for Plaz or another striker perhaps. Plays it all the way down to the goal line, looking to get a cross off, and she dribbles it just out for a Chillicothe goal kick.
It's really good to see these girls fighting, Bryce. They just need to keep it up. They need to keep their head in the game and keep up the hard work. St. Pius brought it out wide again, brought it back in, went out of the baseline, but another good cross for St. Pius. But our defenders were there fighting hard.
Absolutely. An interesting thing to note is even though it's a 0-4 scoreline, St. Pius winning with 7 minutes left, that's not too outrageous of a scoreline. And not to mention, it's not what Chillicothe's defense is doing wrong. It's what the St. Pius attack is doing right. Chillicothe's still doing the best they can, but if they can just figure out what they're going to have to do in transition to get that momentum swing, to get their foot back on top of the ball, is really going to be the difference in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. St. Pius is they're doing a good job settling that ball quick, moving the ball off their foot, and making those passes move around the field fast. You can't chase a pass. It's impossible to keep up with a team who is really good at passing the ball. And then at the right time, of course, they pass it in front of the goal and ending up with some points out of it.
Absolutely. Playing the coach will always tell you that the ball is faster than you are, so you have to plan ahead, always.
That is absolutely true. I noticed Josie Reeder over here when the ball was in the air. She did a really great job of settling the ball. And the minute she dropped it to her feet, and by the way, it's important to get it to your feet as quickly as possible, just a good quick pass off the ball.
Plaz with the ball at the midfield, sending it to Peterson, who looks for a ball on through, but Chillicothe defense clearing it out. Carson Keithley playing it back for Josie Reeder, who sends it back up. A miscue from the Pius defender, but again cleaned up from the center back. Able to read the game so well. The defense pushed all the way up to the 50-yard line. They can see what's coming, and they're planning ahead. And the St. Pius defense really isn't letting anything through.
That is true. They're a very good team, very well coached. These girls have played. They're experienced. You can tell, regardless of their age or what grade they are in school. You can tell that this team has played a lot of soccer.
Absolutely, and that's just what it takes, playing day in and day out. And although our girls do travel and they play together, it's a real testament to how hard these other girls work. Probably traveling and playing with each other day in and day out, but perhaps since they were 10, it all depends on chemistry whenever it boils down to it, and they have great chemistry.
Yeah, they know what the other one's thinking, and that does come from playing together. And I assure you, these girls are doing a lot of playing in the off season, and I do agree with you. That is what it takes to become a really great team.
And I'm willing to bet that's exactly why we're looking at a young Pius squad. Chillicothe kind of spread out in the roster, but you have a core group probably a year or so before these girls, and then they all graduated because they've been playing together forever. Yeah. Well, you see the St. Pius squad, and you see a lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomores. Well, I'm sure they've been together just as long as the last core group that has gone through.
Yeah, it comes in waves. They were playing club soccer together, traveling together. And they're moving up together in school. The girls that chose to go out for soccer happen to be the girls that played together in club soccer, and that's the way has been working recently for our boys team as well.
Absolutely, Lindy Saunders striking all the way back to the defense to try to guard the St. Pius attacker, doing well. It'll be a Chillicothe goal kick now. With 4 minutes left, St. Pius beating Chillicothe 4-0. What do you think we're going to have to do in the second half to really change the momentum to get the ball going in our favor?
The first thing we have got to do is to get our minds right. Without that, nothing happens. If you believe you can, that's the only way that you can. If you don't believe in yourself, it is not going to happen. So the coach is going to have to do a good job of getting their minds right. The girls are going to have to receive what he has to say, and then if they can get their minds right, the same things that I felt would.
St. Pius attack pestering the Chillicothe defense, causing all kinds of issues, getting 2 or 3 shots off in that sequence. Finally finding an attacker on the left side who does exactly what a striker should, sends it far post and banks off of the post going to the left side netting. An excellent shot, and no goalkeeper standing any chance with that.
It was an excellent setup, excellent shot. And to finish where I was, it's going to take not just getting the head straight, but coming out and doing the things that we discussed before the game, which is to be physical in play, to be the first to the ball, and to patiently work that ball downfield with quick one-touch short passes. Lots of ball control, lots of possession.
Absolutely. The last goal scored, Katie Pearson, actually a defender, going all the way up the field, getting an amazing shot off.
Ball being kicked out of bounds by Josie Reeder, and that's a St. Pius throw-in.
A throw into St. Pius, looking for an attacker, but Chillicothe really using numbers well here to squelch any opportunities. Kicked out now. It'll be a Chillicothe throw in at about the 20-yard line.
Looks like Hannah Jones has switched sides of the field. She's now our near side midfielder, and Mariah Cox is the other side of the field. Lindy Saunders, our #1 scorer. And, we mentioned earlier about off-season play. Lindy has done club soccer and has played since she was probably 4 years old. And, of course, that's when you end up with 25, 26, 27. In the case of one of the girls on the Pius team, 40 goals in a season. Yes. So it does pay off to play in the off season, but they're doing well to keep the ball out of her feet today.
Absolutely. The coaching staff making some interesting decisions. I love that they take strikers and wingers and invert them by switching sides. It adds another factor, sending balls in, knuckling inside and outside both ways. Lindy Saunders tucking into the midfield more and playing laterally. I can't say that I'm a huge advocate of that. I believe someone who has a shot like Lindy Saunders should be further up in the attack, probably be that attacking role. So rather than Carson Keithley running down, Lindy Saunders can hold up the play and let Chillicothe to get in the attack, but I'm sure they have a reason for it, and it's in their best interest.
I would tend to agree with you. You have to put a girl who can put 25, 26 goals, 25, 26 balls in the back of the net. You've got to keep her in scoring position.
Absolutely. With 1 minute left now, St. Pius gets a corner in, seeing if they'll get another goal by the end of the half. Scruffle in the box. Sturgis making the save on the goal line. Very close. 56 seconds now. Sturgis taking the goal kick. Sent for Carson Keithley. Doing well to play it to feet. Looking for a teammate. Not too many options. Lack of communication in the midfield, I have to say.
And they're not really moving and trying to get open for Carson. You didn't see movement off the ball, move into an open space, at an angle where she can get the ball to them, and calling their name as though they want it. They got to want this ball. They got to want to win this game. They got to move.
Perhaps just trying to survive the rest of the half so they can save their legs and energy for the rest of the game.
Yes, perhaps. It looks as though penalty was called on the Warriors, on St. Pius. Saunders is all the way back in the defensive area, taking the set piece, the free kick.
10 seconds left now with the ball at the midfield. Battle between Mammon and St. Pius midfielder sent through, looking for another shot on goal. She takes a long one from about 35 yards out, and it trickles far left of the goal post. Action-packed first half. Most of the balls falling in the way of St. Pius. Chillicothe really not firing in all cylinders. Definitely not doing everything right. They could be working on a couple things in a few different areas. But overall, what did you think of the St. Pius squad this first half?
I think St. Pius did exactly what Chillicothe hoped to do, which is they moved off the ball. They were continually moving, getting open for a pass, communicating. Passes were being distributed quickly. They were winning the ball. They were being the first to the ball. The defense gave us no room for scoring. They closed on the ball quickly. They had us stopped usually at midfield. The ball spent almost all the time exactly where they wanted it, which was at their end of the field. And they did all the things that we hoped to do. We really got off to a rocky start, and I think that has hurt us pretty bad. Right.
I think the adjective to use for the St. Pius team is pretty. We've seen pretty soccer. Yes. Not only did they score 5 goals, but that was distributed pretty well between a different group of girls coming from different positions, and not only winning the first half 5-0, but they also had over 10 corner kicks. And I would also have to give a possession statistic of about 75% for St. Pius, really not giving Chillicothe much room to play or, instill their own game on the field. So really a dominating half from St. Pius. What did you think of Chillicothe?
As I said, I hated to see those first couple of goals that that Chillicothe I know felt should not have happened. I hated to see that because I know they felt robbed, and my fear was that they would let down. They did let down. We've got another half to play. I would like to see them come out and play the game that we know that they can play, like they played Maryville the first half last week.
Absolutely. I would love to see a Chillicothe team that plays with the same confidence that they have the whole season. You see them get drained fairly early in this game and not playing to the best of their ability. Again, Chillicothe falling this first half 0-5 to the St. Pius Warriors. If you're watching this game on 810WHBTV.com, you can catch us on WHB Chillicothe on Zito Cable Channel 95. We'll be right back.
Some of the best teams in the world are in Kansas City. The Chiefs, the Royals, Sporting, and the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol? St. John and Bucati? Those two guys couldn't hold on.
Easy there, fellas.
We may not be the 2 godfathers of Kansas City sports like you guys are,
But we do know how to have a good time talking sports.
and having a good time like Gary Lezak has a good time.
Make the Border Patrol a part of your morning, just like I do.
Watch Sports Radio 810's Border Patrol, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on 38.5.
So what's your favorite sport?
Girls track. Boys track. Boys track.
Boys track.
Girls track.
Boys track.
Go girls.
What's your favorite sport?
Girls track.
Jim.
So what's your favorite sport?
Definitely soccer.
No wait, girls soccer.
Girls soccer.
Girls soccer. Go Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornet. The Chillicothe Hornet.
Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets.
Girls soccer. Boys track. What do they have in common? Districts. You better believe it.
Major League Baseball is right around the corner, and the Chillicothe Mudcats will soon begin their 14th season at Schaefer Memorial Park, the summer home of 55 Major League Baseball draftees. Yeah, and you can watch the Mudcats this year on Mudcat TV. And expect more fun at the ballpark, more prizes, more games, more promotions, and play baseball bingo once a week. And of course, collegiate baseball at its finest. The season begins May 30th versus the Spooner Wisconsin Bandits.
1059 The Wave, glorifying him and encouraging you.
Come on and shake, shake, shake like you shake, 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 shake like you shake. You're an overcomer. Stay in the fight to the final round. When you don't know what to say, just say Jesus. There's still power in the name of Jesus.
It's our goal to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your FM dial and on your browser at 1059thewave.com. Give us a try and see how we glorify Him and encourage you.
Just say Jesus.
Golf season is right around the corner. Make Green Hills Golf Course in Chillicothe your first choice for play. The course offers large sweeping greens and forgiving fairways and makes for an enjoyable round for players of all skill levels. We also offer a full-service golf shop, stocking Nike Golf, Bridgestone, Titleist, and FootJoy products. The course also conducts golf club fittings using the Mizuno golf fitting system. Be sure to check us out on Facebook by searching Chillicothe Golf or on Twitter at Golf Chillicothe. You can also check out the website, greenhillsgolfcourse.com, or call 660-646-6669.
Whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or just to show someone special that you care, give the gift that keeps on giving. Precious jewelry from Lawhoff Jewelry. Surprisingly affordable and always to be treasured, a gift of diamonds and gold will provide years of enjoyment for the ones you love. Lawhoff Jewelry has 2 locations to serve you. See us in the Williams Shopping Center in Trenton and on the west side of the square, downtown Chillicothe.
It's special Lawhoff's jewelry and gifts.
All right, we're back with Brent Klein and myself, Bryce Griffin, for District 16 girls playoff soccer. It's St. Pius 10th, the Warriors, against the Chillicothe Lady Hornets. Hornets trailing 5-0 going into the second half. We're lined up with looking like the same starters on both sides to kick off the second half. Brent, what do you think we're going to have to do to get back into this game?
You know, it's going to help, Bryce, that we have the wind at our back. There is no question that that's a benefit. The wind not being as strong as it was yesterday, it is still a benefit to have the wind at your back.
Right, so we came in yesterday to the second half with score lines for the end of the game. What do you think we're gonna see at the end of the second half?
You know, Bryce, I would like to say that I'll tell you. Here's my prediction. We're going to score 6 points in the second half. We're going to win 6-5.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to have to say I'm a little less biased than you are right now. I see Chillicothe doing well to get back into the game, especially with Carson Keithley's speed and Miranda Mammon's speed, and the win now on our backs. But I see St. Pius still just playing their game, so probably a 6-2 win for St. Pius today.
Yes. Well, I can see how you would say that, but I'm going to hold out.
All right, I hope you're right. It would make for a fun game to call.
But the wind at our backs is going to help.
St. Pius already with a corner on the east byline, a scruff in the box, sent back out to the same winger who sent the corner in. Now a long ball sent in as a cross. It'll trickle out as a throw-in for Chillicothe Hornets.
The other thing that's going to help, Bryce, is hopefully that the coach got the opportunity to speak to these girls, and hopefully these girls received what he had to say. And I hope they will come out here and at the end of the day feel very proud for the effort that they gave, that they will never quit.
If you're Coach Harvey, what do you tell these girls going into the second half?
I would tell the girls, you know, you have nothing to lose. You've got the game to lose, but you know you're already losing. That's predetermined. If you don't get your head in the game, and if you don't go out there and fight, that's what's going to happen. Now, you can win this second half and feel good about it just by playing really hard. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you lose, wouldn't you rather lose knowing you gave it your all the entire game till that last whistle blows?
Absolutely. I would have to agree with you. We came to this game being underdogs, and as far as the first half went, we didn't play like underdogs. We need to rekindle that grit and really get scrappy in a sense, especially in the attacking third, and just be more clinical in the 18-yard box. We're creating these opportunities, but we're just not executing properly, and by not doing so, we lose confidence, and that's just gone a long ways in this entire game. Now number 2, going up the west byline, looking to get a cross in, Bailey Fox pushing her out. Now at the top of the 18 with Perez getting a shot off. It's high, and it's in right over Jaylene Sturgis.
Wow.
St. Pius.
What
a left-footed shot. The first left-footed shot by this player today. Jaylene Sturgis, as far as female keepers go, not exactly small, but just really exploited her height there. She knew she was slightly off of her line and dipped it right over.
Yeah, and Jaylene is I believe that she's a good keeper on a. You know, we have another keeper up here with us that hopefully will join us here in just a little bit. But once a keeper's confidence gets rocked just a little bit, you know, it makes it for a long day once in a while. And she's a good keeper, but just having a long day.
Absolutely. We do have a Chillicothe alumni with us. She was a Lady Hornet goalkeeper who had a couple of excellent seasons under her belt. Maybe she can shed a little more light on that last goal. What do you think of the game so far?
Well, so far, obviously, St. Pius has an advantage. They're very quick to get the ball to their teammates, very quick with the ball at their feet. We're obviously not as skilled footwork-wise. As far as that last goal goes, the high ball is a very, very hard shot to stop, especially in the girls' game. It's also a very common shot as well. So just the fact that she was almost there getting the ball is a good sign for her.
Carson Keithley now one-on-one with a defender trying to take it onto the goalkeeper. Center back doing well battling there, just using experience and wisdom to cut her off and put her off balance. I probably missed it in my lengthy introduction. This is Meredith Brick that I'm with. 4 years collegiate soccer under her belt, and now coming back as coaching staff for Chillicothe. Tell me, what do you think Chillicothe has to do at this point to get back into the game?
At this point, I would say that just stay aggressive. Like Brent said, you'd rather go out being aggressive and losing with your heads held high than just giving up. Something I would probably tell them at the half would be, when you're down, don't let up, and when you're up, don't give up. So, I think that goes for any kind of game. I just hope that they continue being aggressive.
Yes, I'd have to say that's exactly what we have to do, and we have to bring that physicality. Something that I would do if I was the coach, I would tell the girls to play in intervals. First look at this first 5 minutes in the second half, which they've already done. They've let up a goal, but if they play for that 5 minutes and just leave everything on the field for that 5 minutes, and as soon as that 5 minutes is up, kind of recycle and reset and refigure out the game plan for the next 5 minutes, and really just make a game plan and actually strategize for moments rather than long term. That way we can spread out the field a little more, get players in positions, and then really understand our roles and responsibilities for the rest of the match.
I absolutely agree with you, Bryce. The first 5 minutes after a goal is a very vulnerable time for both teams. It's a great time for the other team to counteract, and also a good time for the team that just scored to score.
It looks like another goal coming from a left winger for St. Pius at the 18-yard box. Another excellent goal, knuckling it to the far post, just curling it into the side netting. Not a whole lot Jalen Sturgis can do here. Really, we're matched up with an excellent squad, and we're seeing these long-distance shots with a lot of pace and a lot of power. If you're a goalkeeper, how do you set up for a shot like that?
She had very good position. She was all the way stretched out. She just couldn't get to it. The thing about being a goalkeeper, you're the last line of defense, so you feel like it's all your fault at the end of the day, but it had to go through 10 other people. So being a goalkeeper is a lot of mental game, and you can kind of tell by her body language that she's kind of beating herself up from up here, but this is something she's going to have to learn. Mental toughness is probably the best virtue you can have as a goalkeeper.
So by saying that, do you think the scoreline as it stands is an indication of the quality of play Jalen Sturgis is going to bring for the rest of the game?
For the rest of the game, I don't
Not to
know.
say that it has to be, but do you think it's a factor?
Definitely. When you look up on the scoreboard and it's 7-0, you're like, dang, 7 shots, 7 goals behind my back. What am I supposed to do? It's very discouraging. I know that as a goalkeeper, that can be very discouraging. But hopefully it does not affect her play for the rest of the half. It looks like she's kind of bouncing back now. Absolutely.
Now, Pius right striker cutting up the Chillicothe defense, sending it to the goal line, getting a cross-off, a well cross-off, not finding any St. Pius attackers in the 6-yard box. Now back at the core of the midfield, Lindy Saunders having to do all the work now, taking on 2 players, stopping her run. Now left on Josie Reeder, taking on another attacker on the left side, taking it to the goal line, another cross in. Really sticking to the game, same format in this game. They're not switching up their style of play, and it's proven true to work. So St. Pius really educated in their style of play and what they're doing, so they're doing well. How does Chillicothe adapt now? We know what they're doing. So what does our defense do to set up and get in the right positions to take care of this?
Well, obviously they're using their wings, their sides, very productively. So I think that just to know that they're going to be coming up the sides and crossing it in, that would be good for our wing defenders to be aware of. Also for our center defenders, know that there's runners coming in and be aware that they're roaming around in the box.
Right winger Peterson doing her best to beat out the Chillicothe midfield between Keithley and Saunders, trying to cut them up, but just outnumbering her, sending it out for Pius throw-in here about the 40-yard line. She's going to send it over Carson Keithley to the core of the midfield, besting her, and Lindy Saunders taking care of this again. However, it's going to be a Pius throw-in again. Back at Peterson's feet, no challenge really. Lindy Saunders coming in and doing well to win the ball. She brings an intensity to this team that you're not really seeing with some of the underclassmen. Would you agree with that?
I agree, yes. I feel the last couple of games I've watched, there's a few players who really go in tenaciously and are very aggressive and bring that intensity that I wish all 11 players would bring.
What do you think this Chillicothe team is missing in terms of leadership or perhaps a specific role? Lindy Saunders brings a lot with her skill set alone. I think she sets a standard and a very high bar, head and shoulders above the rest of the players. Now sending a ball through Carson Keithley, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and the same center back just doing well to use her smarts to cut out that play. So Lindy Saunders does that for me. She sets that standard. But is there any person on the field in particular that we're missing to push the players, or what kind of role do we need to make this team better?
I think, just the intensity that they bring. I feel like that's something that I've noticed that these girls kind of lack. They kind of jog everywhere. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying they kind of are all kind of missing that intensity, that drive, that effort, that grade A effort to know that they are champions no matter what. It's just, they need to find it within themselves to do that.
Absolutely. Talking with Brent Klein earlier about the game, how playing early in this tournament and having a game at St. Pius being seated so high they haven't played yet. Does the game we played yesterday against Cameron, a dominant win, 4-1, today, do we have weary legs or confidence? What do you think is the bigger factor coming into this game?
I honestly would say confidence. I know that they've played St. Pius before. They know they are a very strong team. Going into a game like that, you can, like you said, they are the underdogs. But, I feel like being the underdog is the best position to be because you have nowhere to go but up, and people have low expectations for you. So, honestly, I think confidence is a factor. Weary legs might be a factor, but I know that at the end of the game yesterday against Cameron, they switched out at the very end of the game and had a lot of the reserve squad out on the field. So if weary legs is the issue, then I don't know, confidence for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for all of your insight. You've been a huge help. We love the wisdom and all the knowledge that you bring. And I know Chillicothe, as a matter of fact, is very excited to have you on the coaching staff this next season. You'll start with the boys this next season, or the girls? How's that working out?
It's not for sure yet. I'm definitely going to be helping with the boys, whether as assistant coach or just helping out. Definitely helping out with the goalkeepers, and then for sure assistant girls soccer next.
Very
spring.
cool. Excellent.
Well, I'll hand it back to Brent Klein. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Bailey Fox now cleaning up the mess in the central midfield, playing it up an excellent ball for Carson Keithley, who does well to play it back on the ground off of her body, battling two Pius midfielders and actually winning the throw-in.
Well, you could hear the experience that Meredith Brick had, and great job there, Meredith. And she got right in, and the last boys' off-season soccer practice, she jumped right in and did drills right off the bat, and it was drills that we had not done. So already benefiting from Meredith's experience.
Absolutely, and coming out of the program as an alumni myself, I had the luxury of watching her when I was younger. Players like Meredith Brick and Rochelle Gillen and those type of girls. I was watching girls soccer, sure, but as a boy, I was all about that. I watched the game as much as I could locally, and I loved it because they were so good, and they were unrivaled playing around here, and I loved watching them, and they were so good, and really it set a standard for myself, and she was so great back then, and she was so great now. She also went to the same college and played the same place I did, so I got to watch her there then. So honestly,
Nice.
a huge mentor for me, and I loved having her around all the time.
Nice. Well, of course, Meredith's sister Madeline got to play along with Meredith, and that was a lot of fun. And a huge supporter of soccer, Dr. Roger Brick, being their father. And we would not, I wouldn't know if we would have soccer today at Chillicothe School, but we would just now be getting it if we had it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An amazing sponsor, and he always stuck with it too. I remember throughout high school, he always offered soccer players or athletes who had nicks or injuries on the soccer team free therapy, and that was so phenomenal for me myself, always getting banged up in the center of the midfield. I was so fortunate. I remember my senior year, I was out 2 games for really a hamstring that was nearly torn in half. It was awful. He saw me about 12:30 at night, and because of how quickly he got me in, I was able to play within 2 or 3 games. So so great that he offers that to the players, and he is so great.
Oh, it's awesome. And you know, Dr. Brick was instrumental in Green Hills soccer getting started, which is still going today, and it really develops these young kids into soccer players. He ran the Green Hills program for years. And still a huge supporter of the high school soccer level. You know, in fact, he built a soccer field. If it's not a regular size or an official size soccer field, it is very close.
Brick's back acre, exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
Brick's back acre. He's got a soccer field as his yard, and allows all these high school players to come there and do their drills and practicing and scrimmages and. just what a tremendous soccer supporter. He got to see both of his daughters play soccer here, and now one of them coming home, and I just think it's really awesome.
An integral part of development, having that field whenever we're not able to access others or before the stadium was built. So that was a huge help. We're now seeing Hannah Jones come into the game as a left winger, and also Haley Jones, a center back, playing up at a striker position. I don't want to say that's a desperate move, but I want to say it's a very tactical move. You get someone who's as fierce as Haley Jones, a goal scorer off a half volley yesterday, a phenomenal goal, really probably the best that I've seen in the past few days. She did well to score then. Do you think her height, her size, and everything that she brings to the center back position is going to be helpful in the attack now?
Oh, I really do. You can oftentimes bring up a good-sized defender and put them up in that scoring position, and it's amazing some of the things we can that those defenders can do. Chase Reeder is a good example of that. Chase would move up the field sometimes, either when we were behind or when we were really far ahead, and give him an opportunity to get up and score. But the one thing is that size and that ability to run right through the defender. That's pretty important. And, let's face it, Bryce, if you are in a scoring position and you explode through that defender and you knock them down and you foul them, well, what do you get? You get a set piece at the other end of the field. They're not going to score from that position.
Absolutely.
So you really haven't lost anything.
Haley Jones
She's
now
gonna do it right now.
One-on-one with the defender and getting pushed off by the defender before the goalkeeper cleans up that mess. Nearly a goal for Chillicothe, probably the closest opportunity we've had yet. And just going off of what you just said, bringing that power and that intensity to that attacking role. And as I mentioned later, that goalkeeper and that center back, really, if you're with a good team, you have a lot of time to sit back and figure out the tactics of what makes your team really work. And Haley Jones, just before you even seeing the play finish through, being in the right spot because she knew what was going to happen.
She does know how to be in the right spot, and as I said, she just really, I guarantee you that those players were both a little bit scared there, because Haley comes at you with full force. She doesn't back down, and if you manage to knock the player down and get a goal without a foul, you got a goal. And if you don't, so there's a foul. Really no harm done, because that free kick's coming from the other end of the field. So I'm very encouraging of strikers, and in this case a defender, Haley Jones, playing in a striker position, to be very aggressive in that position.
Absolutely. I think for this team, Haley Jones is a great role model. And speaking of role models are more important than ever in today's society. You can serve as a role model for others the next time you display good sportsmanship at a high school athletic event. Good sports are winners and are so vital to preserving our fine sport traditions. So the next time you attend a sporting event, remember to be a good sport and help rekindle the spirit of citizenship. This message was brought to you by your friends at the Missouri State High School Activities Association and WHBTV.com.
Well, Carson Keithley really sets a tone for aggressive play, and as Meredith said, there's a few players out there that just really set the tone for intense play, giving it all you got, and Carson shows it nearly every time she gets a chance to get to the ball, that she is just a very aggressive player, the kind of player that you need to be in this game.
Absolutely, and she's almost instilled this momentum swing. You now see the Chillicothe offense in the attacking third of the field. We see them sequencing some passes, and the play is building up. We're getting more and more touches on the ball, and as that goes, you're going to see more prominent attack for Chillicothe, getting more shots off, getting slightly more confident, and as that goes, maybe if we get it to the right player, say Hannah Jones on the edge of the 6-yard box, I want to say that's a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Haley throwing the ball in on the sideline in the scoring position. That was a foul in the box. They better call that in the box, Bryce.
Clearly a foul, and it looks like it's going to be a penalty kick.
Okay, now a penalty kick is different than a free kick in that the ball is placed in a specific spot in the field, and it is a one-on-one shot between the shooter, which is usually a striker or a midfielder, and the goalkeeper. And the person who shoots the ball can follow their shot, and if it happens to bounce off the goalkeeper, they can still kick the ball in.
Yes, Carson Keithley taken down from behind in the box. It looks like Miranda Mammon is up 10 yards out with the ball on the spot, lined up to take this set piece free kick. She takes the shot, and it's a save for the St. Pius goalkeeper. Can't say that's too surprising from Anna Lillig. St. Pius head coach claims she's the best in Missouri. All Metro 2 years in a row, 11 shutouts on the season, a school record. Really a phenomenal goalkeeper. You expect her to show up big in moments like that. You obviously don't want to let a goal in playoff play, especially with a strong team like Chillicothe. I think that makes a huge statement for what they're going to do for the rest of the tournament.
Yes, I agree, and she did such a good job of anticipating where the ball was going, and she dove the right direction. Miranda Mammon had a decent strike on the ball, but unfortunately the keeper kind of saw where the ball was going and was able to stop. And I think it was very nice that Miranda was able to take that shot, being a senior and a very dedicated member to the Chillicothe Hornets soccer team. She's playing college soccer actually next year at Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri. And so she was able to take what probably was her last penalty kick of her high school career.
Absolutely. I love Miranda Mammon stepping up for a penalty kick. She's a finesse shooter, and she has excellent placement. For me, however, looking at the goalkeeper that we had in the box, I probably would have set up a Haley Jones, Samantha Baldwin, someone with a lot of power. To even if it's not placed well, giving more of a challenge for the goalkeeper to not only make the save but hold on to it as well.
Yeah, yes, power with a good keeper. You need a lot of speed, and sometimes, no matter how good the keeper, if that ball's coming at you fast enough, it's more than likely going to bounce off of the goalkeeper and allow for that striker to take one more shot at the goal.
Absolutely, and we have 20 minutes left here in District 16. Ladies soccer, we have St. Pius beating Chillicothe Hornets 7-0. Very intense match. The St. Pius scoring from the defense, the midfield, and the strikers just spread out evenly. Everyone knows their roles and responsibilities well on this team. They're not afraid to pursue a challenge. They go into everything with a lot of intensity. Definitely, in my opinion, the more physical squad, probably being the biggest factor or attributing factor to their win today, just being stronger. But as I say that, Haley Jones battling a midfielder for at least 30 yards. The only thing stopping her from winning it was Samantha Baldwin waiting to hopefully get the ball poked out in front of her. Haley Jones so strong and doing so well. And now we saw her at the striker position, but now dropping into the hole, playing a box-to-box midfield position. It almost looks as if she's playing a Landon Donovan, Graham Zusi role. If you're familiar with professional soccer, really given the task of doing whatever it takes to make this team do better, and she's doing a great job of that at the moment.
Well, I mentioned Carson Keithley and her style of play being very fierce and very aggressive, but I'll tell you what, one of the reasons that Coach Harvey moved Haley Jones up is that what we just saw, which was a battle for the ball that she was not going to lose, and she did not foul. Now, a lot of times the referee in that situation, because the hitting was so hard, they'll call a foul, but Haley continued to play the ball and simply use her shoulder, and a shoulder check is certainly legal in the game of soccer.
Right, absolutely. Jalen Sturgis doing well to make a save off a lobbed ball about 15 yards out. A relatively easy save for her, and it's nice to see her keeping her composure in a situation like that. Often, like Meredith Brick said, you see goalkeepers who just kind of get down after seeing that many goals on the scoreboard, but Sturgis doing well to stay in the game, and it just goes to show how well the Pius attack is running. They're not scoring fluke goals. Perhaps that second one in the first half, Sturgis could have done better on, but that happens every game. And if you have as many shots as we've seen this game, which I would put up to be about 25, one or two are going to trickle in, but still doing well with the clinical saves.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. You put the ball in scoring position, which I call the danger zone. You just never know what's going to happen, and those kinds of shots they're going to go in, so you really can't take anything away from a team when those types of shots happen, because let's face it, they got the ball down there doing the right things.
Absolutely. And again, we see Sturgis clean up a fairly easy save, and it just attributes to how consistent she's doing right now, not lacking in any confidence, still playing at the top of her game. Now a ball sent up for Samantha Baldwin on the west byline. Right back getting slightly better of the opportunity from her, splitting her off of a defender or a midfielder that she didn't see. Now making her run to the left corner flag, and the ball sent out just because of too much curve on the ball.
Yes, the ball boys are getting a good workout here the second half. Ben Brooks, faithful soccer player, playing a role of one side of the field as ball boy, and he does a great job of it.
Absolutely. Someone else also on the opposite sideline, Charlie Plummer. We talked about her a bit today. Once a starter and a consistent player, someone who put in good minutes for the team, now in a full leg brace. You said you knew about that situation.
Yeah, Charlie, she hurt her knee actually early on in the season, and as it turns out, she tore meniscus, which is cartilage. She strained an MCL, medial collateral, and she tore an ACL.
Oh, my.
So she has had surgery, and here's the crazy thing. She was playing on it. She played on that knee in that kind of condition for several games and did a good job. Now, she limped the entire time, but when she needed to go, she had a lot of speed, and she's one of those players that's not afraid to challenge anybody. And, that tells you the kind of tough girl she is. Imagine what she's going to be like next year.
I think that tells you what kind of team we're looking at. If you see a girl who's limping around on the field and she's keeping up with just the rest of the players, and you see the other girls take all these hard hits, I think you just see a standard that's been set. They're all willing to go into these challenges and get right back up. And just that perseverance. You have a torn meniscus and you're still willing to play. That's passion, and I think that's what the Chillicothe girls have. We lack some skills in certain areas that St. Pius is clearly beating us on, but that's a good thing, because if we're good in certain areas and we know what needs work, that just leaves the room for improvement.
Absolutely.
As soon as we can target what the issues are, which I think it's apparent, it's lateral speed and its quickness, one-on-one attacking. As soon as we can, clean up those three things alone, I think this is a lot closer game. I think this is a 5-2 game or maybe a 4-3 game.
Yeah, I would agree, and I don't know if you mentioned, ball skill, foot skill, but certainly the ability to play early on. As Lindy Saunders has, and develop that foot skill. It makes you quicker than you really are if you have the ability to control that ball.
Absolutely. And some of these St. Pius girls almost graceful in their foot skill, just doing so well to cut up these Chillicothe defenders, and they even fool the crowd every once in a while. They do so well to change their speed and direction, and I tell players this all the time when I'm coaching them. The best skill that you have is not the Croit or the scissors or the step over. It's the change of speed. So if you go one way slowly, and then you cut out as fast as you can the other way. Lionel Messi does so well at this. Yes. I mean, he's the perfect example. He doesn't have many skill sets. He has one, and that's all the arsenal he needs. He is so good at that change of direction and change of speed, and it's all you really need to be a good, quick striker.
That's true. He has that figured out. He is just so good at changing speed and direction, and he can exploit the other players because he is so fast. And so if they hesitate, if he slows down, and they mark him, then he explodes. He's past them before they even know it. And then you get a defense playing in a panic sort of a mode, and he'll draw 3-4 defenders to him at the same time. That leaves all the other offensive players wide open.
Chillicothe back in the attack now. Lindy Saunders with a long ball over the top. Again, I would love to see our defensive mids getting back into this game, pushing up even further, not giving Pius options, but we're hanging back in our own defensive third. Expecting a counter, being that reactive team I was talking about. If we were to be slightly more proactive and move up the field, give them less options, we could definitely see a goal or two come out of that.
Bryce, I'd like you to describe this. I think you'd do a better job at it than me, but what's going through my mind is the importance of pushing up, not just at midfield, but as a defense as well. Why is it that you'll see coaches talking about you're playing too deep, you need to push up?
For several reasons. By staying back, you can see now how the two strikers are on either side, occupied by two defenders. Right now we have a midfielder and a center back covering number 14, and then 3 Chillicothe players covering the left striker. By being so far back, they can push up as far as they can, and they can just receive a through ball or a long ball over the top. By stepping up, they don't have that room to run. If our defenders are lined up on the 50-yard line, not only are we keeping them from that quick counter, maybe catching them on the offsides, playing an offside trap, but we also give give them a 50-yard run. If they get a through ball, they have 50 yards to travel. So that allows our defenders 50 yards to recover. It's not 5 yards, it's not 10 yards. So it just gives us that space that you need in order to read the game better.
Absolutely. So it's really because of the offsides rule. And in soccer, you can't just cherry pick as an offensive player. You cannot be standing past the last defender, and as Coach or as Dr. Brick would say, past the second to the last defender because the keeper is a defender. But you can't be standing past the last defender and receive a play on the ball. If they pass the ball to you and you were past the last defender, that's going to be offsides. It's considered like similar to basketball. It's cherry picking, 3-second zone. It's not allowed in soccer. So when that defense pushes up, it essentially takes half the field away from the offensive team.
Absolutely. As an attacking mid, every once in a while, I was given the responsibility of just pushing on that center back. And so a defense that does not push up is a dream come true. All you have to do is receive that ball with your back to that last defender and make a turn, and you're one-on-one with the goalkeeper. An even better situation if you have another attacker in the mix, because you can fake to make that pass, or you can just go for the shot. It confuses your center backs, it confuses the defense, and it's just easier for a striker to work their magic.
I've always advocated the defense pushing up because I would rather not just give them our half of the field. I would rather take that half the field away and play at the other end of the field. And if that offensive player cannot stand past the last defender, essentially that moves the entire game to the other end of the field, and that's very important.
Haley Jones knocked down in the center circle, a very rough tackle. Surprised that we didn't see a card there. Maybe it wasn't from the side, but it was after the ball was played off her foot. So slightly reckless. I don't want to say malicious exactly, but it was definitely dangerous going into that tackle. And Haley Jones now showing her frustration, not giving up on the play again, but again just her personality, so willing to pursue the play.
Yes, she was throwing her hands in the air. Haley is playing some ball that is legal, but certainly tough. And I think these girls really don't like what she's inflicting upon them. And so, she's doing nothing illegal, but I think she's a big enough girl in a good way that these girls, they're trying to give her back some punishment. But I think let's keep that legal.
Absolutely. Hannah Rudkin, sophomore for St. Pius, getting a shot off at the 18-yard box. Looking good, but going wide about 5 yards of the right post.
Several shots have gone into our Chillicothe keeper, Jaylene.
Yes.
And, she has stopped a lot of shots with confidence. Early on in the game, when you saw her confidence was rattled.
Well, that is the cut I was talking about. She did so well to go to the left, and then even an experienced defender like Josie Reeder and Lindy Saunders, they both got fooled by that move and played the ball to her right and opened all kinds of room for her to get the shot off.
It's just a quick cut, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Just a quick sidestep, and then you find the seam and you take the shot. But Jaylene is doing well to not bobble the ball. She's starting to play with confidence. She got a little rattled the first half, but she is playing with some confidence. Looks like Sarah,
Sarah Markson, yes, our foreign exchange from Germany. She's now in the game playing a striker position. Maybe that spark Harvey's looking for. Maybe growing up around the game a little bit better, a more tactical player, a general up top who can really force an option for strikers and really create an opportunity. Perhaps she's going to be the answer for a consolation goal or two today.
Sarah is very good with her foot skill. I got the opportunity to play with Sarah over the off season, and she really impressed me with her ability to control the ball. And at the high school level, that's saying something. And I would predict that she would get around several of these girls and possibly make an opportunity for herself or somebody else.
Absolutely. I can definitely see that happening now with about 8 minutes left in the game. This is District 16 semifinal soccer between the Chillicothe Hornets and the St. Pius Warriors. St. Pius up 7-0, and on the attack now at the center of the midfield, Praz playing the ball out wide to the left, looking for an option. She shoots through the central channel. Praz picking it back up at the top of the 18-yard box.
Brooke Nelson did a wonderful
so well to cut that ball out.
Wonderful job cutting the ball out. She stepped at just the right time. And in soccer, a lot of times you'll hear the teammates on the field say, "Nice step," and literally that's what it is. You take the right step at the right direction at the right time, and defense is so much of a timing position, and she just did the right thing.
Absolutely. And one thing you have to do watching this game is just be excited about the player potential. You see all these players that are brand new to the game or brand new to high school, freshmen. They do so well to just be like sponges and absorb all the knowledge and information they get from these upperclassmen players, and you can just tell how good some of these players are going to be in the coming years.
You certainly can. I mean, you just looking out at the field, you got Samantha Baldwin. She's got another year left, and of course she's a fast girl. She's very knowledgeable about sports, very sports-minded. She's going to be an exceptional player, and you see that all through the Chillicothe Hornets team.
Now with a quick shot off across the goal, and it's going to trickle out for a Chillicothe goal kick. With about 6 minutes left, St. Pius still up 7-0 against the Chillicothe Lady Hornet Soccer.
I've mentioned Lily Stover. She's a freshman. The coach certainly has shown confidence in her, moving her up to striker and midfielder at several times in the game. And, again, a freshman. And you got Hannah Jones, a freshman, very fast, very aggressive. It's nice to watch. You got Josie Reeder, who has another year of soccer left in her, and she's an excellent defender. We're going to be a good team next year. I really feel like Chillicothe Hornets girls soccer is really the trajectory is good.
Absolutely. These girls are going to be very good. Another good team is going to be the St. Pius Warriors. We can't continue without giving credit where it's due. These St. Pius girls are very good, and they've actually set multiple records this season and going to continue those streaks as the score stands today. They've had 11 shutouts, which is a school record for them this season. It'll increase to 12 if they win without conceding a goal today. Maggie Plaz set a career goal scoring record for the high school with 160, with about 163 or 4 today. She's gotten a few on the score sheet, doing so well to increase her track record. What do you have to say about these girls? Do you think in the coming years those underclassmen are going to be just as good or if not better in the future?
Oh, I really do. I think this team has got a bright future ahead of them. And again, the more they play in the off season, the brighter the future.
Lindy Saunders and Haley Jones back in the game after a quick respite. They're going to bring a little bit of energy back into the game. The two intense players that we've been talking about a lot today. Hopefully there'll be a spark towards the end of the game. I would just love to see this hardworking team get a goal or two today, just to attribute how well they've done this season.
Absolutely, it would be. They are playing better this second half. They are certainly. They look like they're enjoying themselves, Bryce, and frankly, that's what the game is about.
Absolutely,
they're having a good time out there. They're putting their bodies to work, celebrating the fact that they're capable of doing things that they may only be able to do for a few years in their lives.
Absolutely,
they
absolutely.
might as well enjoy it.
And talking to other soccer players throughout the years, they always dreaded to go play at Chillicothe because it was so far away. And these girls make a statement every season with their improvement. We're not a bunch of hicks from the sticks. We get the best education we can from afar away, and we make statements. We're one of the best teams in this district and conference, and we've done very well, and we improve every single year. So I think that says a lot about our mentality and our willingness to learn and educate ourselves about the game.
Absolutely, our community is really young to soccer, and like I said, our trajectory is very good. We're doing a great job. We get better year after year. And, Chillicothe has a great tradition in education. We have a great tradition in sports. Sarah Markson taking the ball up the field, showing some of her foot skill. that I mentioned earlier. But we have a great tradition, Bryce, in every way, and it's a great school, great community to be a part of.
Absolutely. And Chillicothe has done fairly well to maintain possession throughout the midfield, not finding that penetrating pass in the attacking third, still waiting to get numbers. But now we're looking for that momentum swing now with 4 more attackers setting up in the third. Now we're seeing that defensive mid push up a bit. Our back still staying a little further back than I would be telling them if I were a coach. However, they are expecting a quick counter. They've seen it come all day, and they have very, very fast, very quick strikers that are ready to pounce on any mistake these defenders are willing to make. So I want to say they're bracing themselves and not too willing to get into the attack because of that.
Yeah, I would say that's right. Just they're wanting to limit the scoring. You know, I don't know about districts, Bryce, but I do know in the regular season when one team gets a 10-point advantage, the game is over, and that certainly wouldn't be a good way to remember your district semifinals in high school.
No, it would not.
I think they don't want to see that happen.
No, and I believe that's what Chillicothe is fighting for. I think they take pride in having a solidified defense, one that's very smart and very strong. So I think that's exactly what they're doing. They want to go out in style, Chillicothe style, and that's by saving themselves from a shutout. I think they've taken pride. They've told me, individual players, about how a team that's shut them out before, their goal in that game was not only to put goals in the back of the opposing team's net, but just to keep it from happening. And I can't say that we've had been shut out of one game all season. We have, we have been shut out, but we have not lost 10-0. We have not left the game early.
Okay, yeah, that I'm trying to remember who. But it did seem like there was one game.
One team.
Maybe one team, yeah. I just can't remember who it was, Bryce. We got 1 minute left, 7-0.
This is District 16, Chillicothe Lady Hornets soccer facing the St. Pius Warriors, down 7-0 with 40 seconds left on the clock. Sending the ball to the core of the midfield, distributing it back out to the east byline. Number 6 looking to get a cross in. Nelson doing well to cover her, being strong. Containing her, Bailey Fox getting a kick on the ball, sending it out for a St. Pius throw-in. Again, 22 seconds left. Let's see if the Chillicothe defense can hold strong long enough to make the score hold.
They certainly are attempting to do that. We've got all of our players back.
Absolutely, all back with the exception of 2 ready to get a quick counter out. But even they see that it's too late. Sturgis taking her time to get the kickoff. And it hits the field again for the last bounce of the game. Brent, it was a good game today. I think the Chillicothe Hornets did really well. They didn't stray from their game too far. I think the most transition and change we saw was movement between players. But any coach does that during a game. You want to give people experience in different areas, and you want to strengthen their qualities. And I think that's exactly what he did. Haley Jones put in good minutes up top, and I think that was a smart decision. I can't say there were many scores put in the back of their net after she left defense, so obviously someone came in and filled in for her very well. I think St. Pius just played their game.
They did.
A lot of goals, a lot of intensity, and they just beat us at their own game.
They did. They dominated the game from start to finish, and did all the things, as I said earlier, that we were hoping that we would do. And our girls are certainly capable of doing that for an entire game and have done it many times through the season. This was not the night that they were able to accomplish that. They didn't fall apart, though, and that is nice. It's nice to see. Did they let down? Yes, but they did not completely fall apart. They did manage to continue having fun through the entire game. And, it's you're right. There was a lot of movement of players from one position to another. And I think it's a great idea, good coaching move. Give players an experience on other spots on the field, let them see how that feels, develop skills, and put somebody else up against that defender so that somebody they're not used to. Just try something in a game such as this where really you want to do what you can to put some points on the board.
Absolutely. So you see Chillicothe ending their season with a 10-10 record. St. Pius Warrior ladies soccer improved their season to 16-3-1. Amazing, setting so many records this season and doing so well. You have to be impressed with this team. Coming up, interview with Coach Harvey if we can get him after the game. Again, if you're watching online at 810WHBTV.com, you can catch the rest of the broadcast and interviews on WHB-TV Chillicothe on Zito Cable, Channel 95. Thanks.
Okay, so Bryce is going to make his way to the field, and we're going to hope for an interview with Coach Harvey. We
Some of the
will
best
see you in a
teams
few.
in the world are in Kansas City. The Chiefs, the Royals, Sporting, and the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol? St. John and Bucati? Those two guys couldn't hold on.
Easy there, fellas.
We may not be the two godfathers of Kansas City sports like you guys are,
But we do know how to have a good time talking sports.
and having a good time like Gary Lezak has a good time.
Make the Border Patrol a part of your morning, just like I do.
Watch Sports Radio 810's Border Patrol, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on 38 to 5.
So what's your favorite sport?
Girls track. Boys track. Boys track.
Boys track.
Girls track.
Boys track.
Go girls.
What's your favorite sport?
Girls track.
So what's your favorite sport?
Definitely soccer.
No, wait, girls soccer.
Girls soccer.
Girls soccer. Go Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornet. The Chillicothe Hornet.
Chillicothe Hornets.
The Chillicothe Hornets.
Chillicothe Hornets.
Girls soccer. Boys track. What do they have in common? Districts. You better believe it.
Pink League Baseball is right around the corner, and the Chillicothe Mudcats will soon begin their 14th season at Schaefer Memorial Park, the summer home of 55 Major League Baseball draftees. Yeah, and you can watch the Mudcats this year on Mudcat TV. And expect more fun at the ballpark, more prizes, more games, more promotions, and play baseball bingo once a week. And of course, collegiate baseball at its finest. The season begins May 30th versus the Spooner Wisconsin Bandits.
105.9 The Wave, glorifying him and encouraging you.
Come on and shake, shake, shake like you shake, 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 shake like you shake. You're an overcomer. Stay in the fight to the final round. When you don't know what to say, just say Jesus. There's still power in the name of Jesus.
It's our goal to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on your FM dial and on your browser at 1059thewave.com. Give us a try and see how we glorify Him and encourage you.
Just say Jesus.
Golf season is right around the corner. Make Green Hills Golf Course in Chillicothe your first choice for play. The course offers large sweeping greens and forgiving fairways and makes for an enjoyable round for players of all skill levels. We also offer a full-service golf shop, stocking Nike Golf, Bridgestone, Titleist, and FootJoy products. The course also conducts golf club fittings using the Mizuno golf fitting system. Be sure to check us out on Facebook by searching Chillicothe Golf or on Twitter at Golf Chillicothe. You can also check out the website greenhillsgolfcourse.com or call 660-646-6669.
Whether it's a birthday, anniversary, or just to show someone special that you care, give the gift that keeps on giving. Precious jewelry from Lawhoff Jewelry. Surprisingly affordable and always to be treasured, a gift of diamonds and gold will provide years of enjoyment for the ones you love. Lawhoff Jewelry has 2 locations to serve you. See us in the Williams Shopping Center in Trenton and on the west side of the square, downtown Chillicothe.
It's special Lawhoff's jewelry and gifts.
Hi, I'm here with Coach Harvey. Today you lost 7-0 to the St. Pius Warriors. Your girls put in a solid effort today. Can you tell me, was there any individual on the Chillicothe team that really just laid it all out on the line today, who gave everything her all and was not willing to let this one go?
Well, I'm going to have to credit Miranda Mammon. She's a senior, has played for me for 4 years, and she never quit. You know, she was played it forward, but I had her in about 4 different positions, and she was always pressuring, and she disrupted a lot of their movement just by her hustle. It's her last game, and when we got down 5-0, she could have given it up, but she didn't. She played the whole time. Megan Dominic did the same thing, just out there hustling. So I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, we have to say we saw a lot from that upperclassmen group. They were setting a standard of energy and intensity throughout the game. So we saw a lot come from them today. Tell me, what did you think the St. Pius squad did, this record-shattering St. Pius squad did, that really made their team tick? What did they do to exploit our defense today?
Well, if you watched them play, they broke it down to fundamental soccer. Good first touch. As soon as they touched the ball, they knew where their players were going. They were communicating constantly. Even up 7-0, their keeper was out yelling at them, telling them to double, switching them around, moving them, and they just had better touches than us. They were aggressive to the ball, and they didn't end up chasing a lot. So whenever the ball was at their feet, they pretty much had their way with us.
Now looking back at this game, what would you do differently tactically to hopefully improve the score of this game if we had a second shot?
Well, in the first half, we were down 5-0, but 3 of those goals were mental mistakes on our part. They had 2 solid shots, but the 3 goals that they put in were defensive lapses where we weren't communicating. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that whenever we're talking to each other, that we've got to trust each other. You call for the ball, you get to it. We're not backing off and wondering who's getting the ball, who's doing what. We're going to make a decision and go. If you make a mistake on that decision, so be it, but don't make a mistake and compound it by doing nothing. And I think that's kind of what we did in that first half, but we played better the second half. We definitely talked about that at halftime, and I think they took that to heart.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, Bryce.
Hey, all right. So beautiful day, beautiful night here at Jerry Litton Stadium. Well, a tremendous field we have here. What a blessing to have such a nice stadium. Thanks to Bryce Griffin and a great job announcing. The second night, district semifinals. Great interview there with Coach Harvey, and I think he resounded really what things that we were saying up here as we were calling the game. And I want to thank Jim Bly and WHB 810 Radio. Go ahead, Jim. How did you feel about things? And I would like you to just give us a bit of what you do, because I can tell you from where I stand, I am very appreciative of what you do for Chillicothe sports. But that's not all you cover.
No, we cover Chiefs sporting. We were at the 42 movie premiere. Whatever we do, high school sports, pro sports, whatever's out there, constantly trying to build a company. I mean, basically 810 WHB TV is a part of 810 WHB Radio, but we're a separate part.
That's correct, yes.
I pretty much manage everything and go out and try and put things together. And, we were at the Big 12 tournament at the Power and Light District, and that's a crazy time, Brent.
I'll bet
see
that it
some
is.
Crazy stuff down there, but it's fun. After 4 days of listening to loud music, my 4-day stretch of loud music's gone.
So this is really this is giving radio an edge that most stations don't have, because this isn't just about air. You're bringing live streaming, you're bringing video to some of the things that was previously, from a radio station standpoint, done only audio.
Well, we've got the local TV station here that Zito Cable has worked wonderfully with me on. We tried to get it going during basketball districts, had some problems with that, went through some troubleshooting events, and it seems to be working now, and viewers can watch at home if they have Zito Cable. We also are in a cloud-based TV, which, if you don't know what cloud-based TV, it's basically internet TV like Netflix, Hulu, everything that you can get. You just have to buy a little box called Roku and hook it to your TV. You can watch it on your TV. It takes the video, like when you expand it on your computer, it gets real pixely. It doesn't do that with Roku. So you're watching, if you have an HD connection, you're watching it in HD on your HD TV. So that's pretty cool that we've gone that. saw a story on PBS with Charlie. I can't remember his last name. That has that news program.
Yes, Charlie Rose.
Yeah, Charlie Rose. They were talking about internet-based TV. Over 50% of the people have cut the cord. So I'm sure Zito's not liking me talk about this, but it's another direction we're going. We can't prevent it, so we just got to find a way to take it in and see what we can do. You can actually get a Roku box through Zito Cable. They actually have a whole bunch of them over there. If you're just an internet provider, they'll give you, if you sign up for internet, they have some sort of promotion where they'll give you a Roku.
Cutting edge, Jim. Cutting edge, and things certainly have changed. I mean, as you said, you can't stop it. Let's face it. We don't have cassette tapes anymore, and most people don't have phones, hard lines in their homes anymore. And I actually heard the other day that when it comes to music, the very thing that changed our world, which was Apple, iTunes, etc., most people aren't buying their music anymore. They're actually live streaming it. And speaking of live streaming, I mean, that's what we're doing here.
Right.
So it is cutting edge. The things you do, and you're mentioning these things. Of course, I'm not a technical type person, but I do admire it. But mostly, I appreciate that you're using this to really support. I really love what you're doing for high school sports. I know you do more than Chillicothe, but you certainly represent Chillicothe well.
Well, and how this all got started was an accident because of one of the stations you're involved with, 105.9 The Wave, hit Christian music, and they were doing a fifth quarter show. I had a golf shop, and I had all these cameras, and they invited me to come and start streaming it because I had the equipment, and here I am. I went from a golf pro to a TV producer.
Well, it's absolutely awesome. And we have another game getting ready to start here. And actually, I'm going to turn over the microphone here to Bryce Griffin, who's made his way back up the field, and I'll let you and he take the sign-off. If you want to talk about the game that's coming up, that's great, or just visit about whatever you all want to talk about. But it's been great spending time here at the soccer field. I love soccer. I love announcing. So, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Bryce, and I'm going to turn it over to you all now.
All right, thanks, Brent. Appreciate it. Well, Bryce, a nice interview with Coach Harvey out there. Not probably the one that he really wanted to give, but as coaches and athletes, we all know that there's only one winner at the end of the season. And unfortunately, it's not going to be the Chillicothe Hornets.
Absolutely. And, Chillicothe, they played their game, and they executed what they had been doing all season, but they just ended up coming across a squad that is really head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. We're looking at a team that has shattered records all season, and they're continuing to do so throughout the playoffs. So relentlessly not letting up any of the pressure on their competition, and you see that through Anna Lillig saving a PK All-Metro 2 years in a row, heading to UMKC, a phenomenal goalkeeper. Sydney Ruth now with 30 goals this season, so that's a crazy number, and Maggie Plass with over 160 now after this game, a career record for the high school. So she's done so well along with the supporting cast of this team, that midfield doing so well, getting players off the bench and getting involved in the play, and just being hot. They were so hot. Quick, fast, clinical. They executed everything flawlessly. So you just have to give credit to this team. A true testament to the coaching staff, and the ideas and opinions they've instilled in the players, and they've really nurtured and molded a team to be as good as they are. So they, in my opinion, deserve to be in the final match of this District 16 tournament, and we'll see how they do whenever they play again.
Yeah, it's I just can't believe. I mean, my daughter started playing as a freshman with these girls, and she's a junior now. So, Sam Baldwin, Haley Jones, and I've watched them play as freshmen, and how they've came along in all sports has really been excellent. And you can't beat the help that you get from the soccer community with Brent Klein, Roger Brick, nameless others, I'm sure, that I don't know of. Sands Donners, I know they have over at the Cornerstone Church, they have the gym or whatever event center that they can practice in when it's cold and stuff. we were driving through KCK, and you were telling me you played soccer indoor over there at an old school that I didn't even know existed, and I'm from there, and Brent takes you to a restaurant that a good friend of mine owns. I was like, wow, what a quinky-dink, that doesn't happen too often that I know somebody that stops in a restaurant in KCK and just off downtown. But Brett's is really a good place. Bobby Brettenstein's a really good guy, and I'm sure he appreciates your business.
Right, the soccer support is phenomenal. They do so much for us, and in return, the players absolutely cover themselves in glory on the field. So many products, so many collegiate athletes come out of the soccer program, and that's all thanks to the people who invest in them throughout their high school years. So truly, some of the greatest people, not only in this community but on this planet. They're phenomenal and so great to us.
Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this broadcast up. We're going to try and take you, if possible, if technology allows me to the Sporting KC Weekly Tuesday night show with
Andy Edwards and Cal Williams. Yeah, we'll see those guys here in a minute. They're going to talk all about their.
We won't see them, but we'll hear them.
We'll hear them. They're going to talk about their 2 losses this past week against the Chicago Fire and the Philadelphia Union. And probably a little bit about international soccer coming up, but we'll see what they have to say coming up. So thanks for tuning in online at 810WHBTV.com or WHBTV Chillicothe on Zito Cable, Channel 95. We appreciate you for tuning in if you couldn't make it out. We hope you enjoy this evening's game between the St. Pius Warriors and the Chillicothe Lady Hornets.
And real quick, Bryce, we'll have the replay of this game up. I'm sure they won't want to watch it right away, but it will be on 810WHBTV.com and also on Zito Channel 95. So for Bryce Griffin, this is Jim Bly, and we're going to go ahead and sign off now and hopefully take you to the Sporting Kansas City Weekly Tuesday night show.
This kind of side effect of this is, now Giavatello's not there, so Siriaco plays second base today, and Valencia is playing third base today against a right-hander. A couple of lefties coming up the next couple of days, so it seems like this is going to be a situation where Ned's going to give Valencia 3 days in a row at least, and maybe, I don't know if it's an audition or what. Ned Yost said he doesn't have a plan when it comes to how he's going to handle this situation with Moustakas and Valencia going forward. What do you think he's going to do?
You know what? I'm a little less worried about that than I am about all of the other 2 catchers handling our pitching staff. You know as well as I do, Sally catches almost every inning of every game, with the exception of a couple this year where we got him a rest. So, those guys probably try to catch as many bullpens in between starts and what they saw those guys in spring training. I'm a little bit more worried about how that's going to go with some young catchers behind the plate. We'll figure out the offense. And if you get that pitch to hammer it, we got to hammer it and at least doubles and drive in some runs a little bit. We're seeing a little bit more of that. And hopefully that's a sign of things to come.
Well, another part of that, though, is you have to spit on the bad pitches, the ones that you can't hit. And like, Eric Hosmer, not to just single him out, but obviously he came up in a pretty crucial situation last night, and he waved at some pitches that weren't even close to the strike zone. And, are you seeing that as a symptom of maybe, it seems like the guys when they get up, I feel like, look, Ned Yost and Dayton Moore have put a lot of pressure on them to deliver with in RBI situations. And I just wonder if sometimes maybe they're a little, I don't know, too aggressive, too amped up, or whatever is the word. But what are you seeing when it comes to those RBI situations and at bats like that?
For me, it looks like he was just trying to do too much. They're going to bring in a lefty that's got a little sidewinder that's going to be tough on lefties, but you still got to stay back and do your job. At least try to move a runner over. If not, get a ball into the outfield somehow, to at least get a guy in scoring position with one out, or a guy was already in scoring position, get a guy to third base with less than 2 outs. To give a guy an opportunity to do the same thing the next at bat. And he's just trying to do too much. He'll be in that situation again throughout the course of the year, and you hope that maybe he cuts down on his swing a little bit in that situation. We all know what Hosmer can do. He's got a pretty long swing, and when he squares it up, it's pretty. But, man, when he gets long in a situation like that, just led to a little bit of trouble.
Jamie, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
You got it. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8. Yeah,
Jamie Bloom is going to join us in the studio on the Border Patrol tomorrow, so I'm sure you will look forward to that. That's going to do it for baseball tonight here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Boulevard Baseball Tonight is brought to you by Buck Roofing and A&B CarStar, Kansas City Royals, and Chicago White Sox in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Andre Rienzo, 3-0 with a 4.2 ERA against Giordano Ventura, 2-3 with a 2.4 ERA. Colbert on golf is coming up next. Then NBA Conference Final action right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
WHB Kansas City. Homeowners, now is the season to be thinking about your roof, because all it takes is one storm to turn a small roof problem into a major leak. If it's time for a new roof, call Sears at 1-800-746-5120. You can save $500 if you call right now. Sears licensed, fully insured contractors can get your roofing job done right. Just call 1-800-746-5120. Sears has a variety of shingles and styles that are built for long-lasting performance. And you'll save $500 if you call now. So call Sears for a free in-home consultation. 1-800-746-5120. Free. Offer ends soon. Not available in all states. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. That's Sears Roofing. Call right now and save $500. Call 1-800-746-5120. 1-800-746-5120. Sears.
Colbert on Golf is presented by Dubs Dread. It's time to grab the sticks and see what everyone is talking about. Book your tee time today at dubsdreadgolf.com. Dubs Dread. Experience the history. Play the legend.
It's time for Colbert on Golf with Jim Colbert and Kevin Keatsman. Each week, we'll break down what's happening in the world of golf with insights and big-name interviews, plus tips from the winner of 28 tournaments on the PGA and Champions Tours, Jim Colbert. Colbert on Golf is built by Midland Exteriors, online at midlandexteriors.com. Midland Exteriors, we've thought of everything.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Colbert on Golf, built by Midland Exteriors. I'm Kevin Keatsman, the happiest guy in broadcasting. Every week I get the chance to speak with Jim Colbert about the great game of golf. He's the winner of 34 events on the PGA and Champions Tours. This week, Colbert on Golf special guest, we're going to have the governor of the great state of Missouri, Governor Jay Nixon, who was instrumental in bringing the Legends of Golf to Missouri. They'll be playing in Branson in just a couple of weeks. Jim Colbert will be playing in that event June 2nd through the 8th in Branson. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes and hear from the governor. Right now, it's time to